This video is an introduction to an important subject of your empowerment and the resistance to the Matrix. It is a crucial element of knowledge in our collective awakening, and although I have described the oppressive structure we live in the videos about lies, the Matrix, and the three parts of elite insider revelations, I never had the chance to explain in detail to you the deceptive mechanism behind your oppression and enslavement and how to free yourself from it. I'll be uploading more videos on how you can speed up your liberation process, and the first part of this needs to be an in-depth analysis of the hidden mechanism behind generating the illusion of freedom and a well-organized structure. This will help you understand what is really going on with you and your life. The broken world of the Matrix operates through layers of visible and invisible power, with most people unaware of the forces shaping their reality. You're a hostage of the Matrix, and you need to know the truth to start taking control of your life. You're a prisoner of a war that you know nothing about. So in this video, I'm going to show you the invisible bars of your prison cell. I'll show you who the prison guards are, what methods they employ to control you, and why you do not need to be a part of this mess anymore. It is an important wake-up call for all of us, so please share this video with everyone you know. The content of this video will also explain the reason why it is time for us to start our own 434 community, and in a moment you'll understand what I've been working on for the last year. This video will open your eyes to a much better life. I wrote it to finally make you feel good about this earthly experience, and I want you to consider supporting me and our community. It cannot exist without you. No matter how small, your donation matters a lot. If you're this amazing, positive vibe person, you'll be doing a wonderful thing by helping thousands in this collective to improve their lives. Sometimes we're saving lives together, and I'm forever grateful for your thoughtfulness and generosity. Let me know if you want to learn how your money is being used for the 434 community. If you want something in return, also let me know. You can schedule a chat and I can help you with your problems, or we can have a friendly conversation about anything you want. There is also merchandise available. All the methods are visible on the screen now. It is quick and easy with the links in the video description. You can make a regular monthly contribution or make a one-off payment. In the name of myself and others, thanks a million for your help. Although we have talked briefly about it in previous videos, here is a short reminder about how the world structure operates. It begins with us, the people, and we choose our representatives through so-called democratic elections. These elected politicians form the visible layer of governance. However, beyond them are unelected officials appointed by artificially created systems such as the Federal Reserve or the European Parliament. Above these figures are royal families and shadowy elites from power-holding dynasties like the Rockefellers, who operate behind the scenes. Beyond these groups, there are reportedly controlling families whose identities remain unknown to us. These families possess profound knowledge about the nature of earthly existence, including memories of past lives and a deeper understanding of the soul's journey. They may even be the architects of the metaphysical framework of our reality. From the level of shadow figures upward, these groups are believed to create and sustain the matrix in which we live. Interestingly, those at the very top and bottom of this hierarchy do not actively participate in maintaining this system. Society at large, along with lower-level politicians, remains unaware of the manipulation they're under. Meanwhile, the enlightened individuals who truly understand the purpose of human existence are indifferent to the Matrix and do not interfere in earthly affairs. Before we explain who and how controls you, we need to uncover the truth about the Matrix system. This will be a detailed description of the functioning of the power structure that was created for you and to which you were forcibly signed up without your consent. From what we know, the system started about 200 years ago. It was introduced artificially, forcefully, and violently after a worldwide human reset and the destruction of the monarchy system, both of which we know very little about. It is clear that it was not formed organically, and it was not something societies decided on. Secret knowledge that they stole from the previous civilization is the basis of all their power. Our history is a lie written by the conquerors, and what really existed before the Matrix is a separate subject for another video. The only reliable records we have show that during the past 2 centuries, shadow banking families of Europe and America were actively forming new dynasties of control through international financial alliances. The goal was to create a worldwide system of monetary control in order to dominate the economy of the world and the social structures of each country. In order to do so, a control tool was put in place called the government. To understand how broken and dysfunctional the matrix is, we must first consider what this main control element was supposed to be. We never explicitly chose to have it, yet the government now plays a central role in this system and in our lives. The government appears to be an archaic mechanism in which people would delegate their decisions to messengers. These messengers would either pass on the will of the people to higher-ranking decision-makers or elect those decision-makers on their behalf. This hierarchical structure theoretically allowed the collective to decide its fate through a system of representatives. That's the premise of the governing body given to us a long time ago that, in today's digital age, is completely useless. Today, the real purpose of government is supposed to enable the people to live in safety and happiness, serving the interests of the governed rather than the governors. It must protect and enhance life, provide for the needs of the people, and secure liberty by safeguarding the equal, birth-given rights of individuals from evil. It should balance the rights of the people to prevent harm, shield society from the destructive actions of corporations, and ensure justice and fairness by punishing injustice. Additionally, government must create conditions for economic and financial prosperity, establish laws to address gaps in social integrity, and reflect the general will of the people to promote collective well-being over individual or elite interests. The government is meant to be a servant of the people, not their master. It must lead by example, fostering social respect and adherence to the law. The people are the rightful masters of the social structure, and both the government and the courts are its servants, guarding the constitution and removing those who corrupt it. So now, let's examine this element of the matrix and see what happened to it after 2 centuries of functioning and what it really is today. Government became greater than the people themselves, and it now holds a legalized monopoly on force, a dictatorship disguised as a public institution. That's the only thing that allows them to exist. The ruling class is no different from ordinary people, except that they are extremely broken, immoral, and detached from reality. The state of their degeneracy is described by me in detail in a video called 2020 Explained, but if you want to know what these people are like, imagine the worst person you know and then give them unlimited power and money. Now picture them raising spoiled children who inherit that power and form the ruling elite. They become broken shells of what can be left of their human form. It is what you would describe as a demon in a human body. This is the reality of modern governing parasitic bloodlines. They are lazy, greedy, disloyal, immoral, and they try to control us by recruiting the worst among us, idiotic, psychopathic liars who we commonly refer to as politicians. If you knew what I know, you would understand that these criminals are often truly the lowest form of human existence, and they are capable of anything. The governments they form have never supported true individual freedom. By nature, governments exist to maintain and expand their power, suppress opposition, and control every aspect of human life. They do this by acting against truth, logic, and economic independence while inflating their own influence. They impose their will upon millions, but they're shielding themselves from any accountability. While you work tirelessly, paying insane taxes for minimal return, the elite manipulate the system to steal from you everything you produce. Those in power dictate how you live, what you earn, and even how you think. The bureaucratic machine ensures that government expansion never stops, feeding on the labor of the productive. At its core, government exists not to serve the people, but to shield the wealthy and powerful from public outrage. The nature of government and politicians is truly disgraceful. Almost all politicians are parasites, corrupt, incompetent, dishonest, and power-hungry. They are detached from the lives of ordinary people, pushing absurd policies that demand you sacrifice comfort, property, and even dignity, while they live in luxury, openly advocating for you to eat bugs, be cold and hungry, not trouble, and have no possessions. Power naturally corrupts, and those who want it are often the last on the list of candidates who should receive it. Most of the world's power is concentrated in the hands of individuals with psychopathic traits. Corporate executives, politicians, and financial elites who thrive on exploitation. The average politician has no guiding principles and will support cannibalism if it makes money. No career politician prioritizes the public good. Their interests lie in waste, corruption, and the destruction of moral and social structures. Politicians are usually not lawyers or economists. They're people who have no education in social studies, and they don't even have contact with the society they govern. At its core, government exists to extract wealth and maintain control, not to serve the people. It is a conspiracy against human potential, designed to suppress and weaken those who refuse to conform. Every law, regulation, and policy is a tool for redistributing power, always at your expense. Politicians do not govern, they manipulate. Their strategy is simple. Find a group of people who want something they cannot get and promise to deliver it. 9 times out of 10, the promise is empty. The 10th time, it is fulfilled by stealing from those who worked for it. Government is nothing more than a broker in legalized theft, and every election is an auction of stolen goods. No matter how extreme your suspicions are, what the government does, in reality, is much worse. The deeper you look into the system, the more you uncover a terrifying machine of control, deceit, and exploitation with a worldwide network of pathological monsters. Hierarchical structures reward those willing to step on others to climb higher. The illusion of legitimacy is maintained through complexity, making the system appear rational when, in reality, it is nothing more than a network of self-serving elites. Because the system is so big, complex, and pseudo-sophisticated, it seems to us to be legitimate and reasonable. In reality, it is nothing but a group of counterproductive, self-interest-driven individuals who care about nothing but their own profit. They hold a monopoly on force, dictating who may wield power and under what conditions. Those who operate outside government approval face harassment, persecution, or even death. The government does whatever it pleases, while citizens are only permitted what the system allows. Governments are the world's largest terrorist organization, waging war against its own people, and given our fast awakening, terrorism is all that the Matrix has got left, as they hate you with passion. It needs to be clear to you. Historically, governments have killed more of their own citizens than any foreign enemy ever could. Today, they serve as the largest organized crime syndicate, trafficking power, wealth, people, and resources, pretending to uphold law and order. They think of you as programmable slave resources, and your life, or the life of millions, means nothing to them. The foundation of the Matrix tyranny is the suppression of truth. Governments control information by regulating what people see, read, and experience, shaping perception to serve their interests. The Matrix uses the most dangerous forms of oppression, one so deeply embedded into daily life that it is invisible. You live in a world designed to limit your freedom, yet you're conditioned to believe that you are free. Government institutions and policies are structured to prevent any participation in discussions that truly affect you. The system is a prison for your body and mind. Government is a cover for theft and oppression, and you have never been free. The system operates without accountability, transparency, or consequence. Politicians are immune to the legal repercussions of their corrupt decisions. Most are unelected and control society by forcing us to be in a perpetual cycle of labor, taxation, and compliance. The best example of this is the illusion of democracy. Democracy is a system of division that often prioritizes the will of the majority or even as little as half of the collective. The interests of the remaining part are ignored or overridden. Most voters and candidates lack the knowledge and interest to make informed decisions about complex social issues, voting instead with their emotions. Democracy, in fact, is always inventing class distinctions, despite its theoretical opposition to them. This results in deep political divisions, making it impossible to pass any legislation, paralyzing the government, and rendering it useless. This constant compromise leads to dysfunctionality. Today's democracy is polyarchy, a socio-economic dictatorship with free elections. It is a farce in which you get to choose from predefined puppet options. In democracy, you never get to decide for yourself. You choose someone who will do it on your behalf. The system is broken for a simple reason. Once you delegate your will to a leader, That will is then in their control and subject to manipulation, corruption, and bribery from outside forces. The will of a huge collective is put in the hands of one flawed human, often crooked by definition, who is then bought and manipulated. That corrupted individual is almost never reliable nor accountable and is incapable of making honest decisions in the name of the people who elected them. What's more, there are no real presidents anymore. Real leaders that can change something are either jailed or assassinated. This means the collective never controls the system representatives at the top beyond their first elected low-level representative, which means they have no impact on the system that controls them whatsoever. Democracy is a pathetic belief in the collective wisdom of individual ignorance, where both a mentally troubled criminal and a genius entrepreneur employing thousands have one equally valid vote. It is ridiculous. The world's complexity makes democracy impossible, both logistically and from a business point of view. It is one of the worst systems possible. Regular electoral fraud undermines the fairness of any elections. It is a beauty contest where popularity and charisma are favored over competence and expertise. Although believed by billions to be legitimate, democracy is a scam, and if voting could really change the system, it would be simply illegal. There is no real possibility for you to decide who governs. The choices are made for you. The Matrix is not built for progress. It is designed for control. According to natural law, human existence should focus on preservation and advancement, yet the current structure does the opposite. The Matrix rewards destructive behavior while punishing independence and innovation. The economy is deliberately structured to tax productivity and to subsidize idleness and dependence on the state. War, poverty, and crime are not accidental. They are products of the monetary system. When foreign enemies no longer serve a purpose, new conflicts are manufactured to maintain the illusion that leadership is necessary. In a world that demands productivity, only a selected few can fit in and benefit from it. The rest are disposable cogs or cannon fodder in a machine designed for exploitation and planned destruction. War, poverty, and suffering are not natural states. They are artificially maintained. In a world of abundant resources and advanced technology, poverty should not exist, yet it does because the system demands it. It is a broken social order of perpetual enslavement to a point-based reward system in form of money. In a money-driven world, everyone needs to be skilled in productivity and servicing others, yet only a few are capable of it. The modern poor are not helped. They are thrown away as worthless. The homeless are non-productive and non-profitable, so they are not even treated as humans. You don't need a more terrifying example than that. The matrix structure ensures that wealth remains concentrated in the hands of those who manipulate it. Government incompetence ensures that nothing functions efficiently. If placed in charge of the oceans, they would manufacture a water shortage within a few years. That's how bad governments are. So, how and when do they control you? The matrix controls you through ignorance, division, and manipulation. By keeping you uninformed, distracted, and emotionally overwhelmed, they ensure your compliance and prevent you from thinking critically. Here's how it's done. The most effective way to control you is to keep you in the dark about how the system works, while distracting you with trivial issues. Confusion benefits those in power because a divided majority is easier to manipulate. You're being deprived of what you really need, and instead, you're being given junk food for thought. Images of mental and emotional disturbance using sex, violence, and wars. Your ability to think critically is undermined by poor education in essential subjects like logic, economics, and system design. Meanwhile, you're bombarded with emotionally charged media, sex, violence, and conflicts to keep you distracted and passive. History and laws are rewritten to shift your focus from your own needs to fabricated priorities to make you comply, like the made-up agenda for saving the planet from an imaginary eco-disaster. Another one is psychological dependency. You're taught to seek a human god to eliminate risk and provide comfort, perpetuating a childlike dependency. This desire for security fuels the welfare state, which promises protection but keeps you reliant on the system. True freedom requires taking risks, but governments exploit your fear and laziness to maintain control. Authority figures like doctors, politicians, priests, and media celebrities act as parental archetypes, offering comfort while keeping you dependent. A government that holds your hand as you cross the street will refuse to let go on the other side. Their real goal is to prevent your happiness because happy people are free and less likely to submit to authority. Governments ensure you remain unfulfilled, creating a void they can fill with empty promises of security and escape. It's all about early conditioning. To create a predictable society, you're brainwashed from childhood. Family structures are weakened, and government-run childcare and schools ensure you conform before you can question the system. And the system keeps you dumbed down, feeding you scientism, religion masquerading as science, while real science and technology are kept secret from you so that an illusion of scarcity and matrix dependency is maintained. As society fails to meet your basic needs for acceptance and love, it makes you a victim of a forced, unnatural structure. Life becomes about making the best of a dysfunctional environment, like decorating a prison cell. The most effective tyranny is one where you unknowingly enslave yourself. Oppression is often justified in the name of noble causes, like minority support or socialism, which claim to care for you, but ultimately want total control. The greatest injustices are carried out under the guise of doing good. Governments create crises, real or imagined, to keep you scared and dependent on their solutions. Wars are used to justify domestic control, while social divisions are deepened to prevent social unity. Capitalism, socialism, and other isms are tools to manage you. They're an illusion of system. Without revolution, society falls into corporatism, where control through money and legal systems enslaves the poor while protecting the rich. Liberty means allowing you to control your own life and labor, but governments grant themselves the power to dictate both. A government large enough to provide everything is also large enough to take everything. Language is a tool of control. In decadent societies, language is used to obscure rather than clarify. Wars like liberation are twisted to justify destruction, while elections use confusing rhetoric to manipulate you. Censorship reflects a lack of social confidence in itself and is a hallmark of a tyrannical regime. The progress of society is based on its right to privacy. You do know that we have a lot of free speech suppression problems now. While governments are corrupt, society mirrors that corruption. Laws are designed to criminalize ordinary behavior, ensuring you're always guilty of something. This keeps control maintained through fear and punishment. Tyranny is defined as actions that are legal for the government, but illegal for you, and disarming you is a key step in enslaving you. The worst of all is regulating altered states of consciousness to control how you think and experience the world. Psychedelics and cannabis are tightly controlled or outlawed, while harmful substances like prescription drugs and alcohol remain perfectly legal. This selective regulation highlights the mechanism of limiting your most basic freedom and maintaining control. And these governments are nothing but organized drug cartels. If you need to understand the system, look at the situation in the US, where we're currently seeing parts of the decades-old system dismantled and exposed, revealing a horrifying machine of control and destruction that for generations was sponsored by the society itself. Now here's the important part. Governments are not legitimate authorities. There's no social contract where you gave consent to be governed. The very idea of one person or group controlling millions is outdated and absurd in this day and age. You do not need them. If necessary, we can create a structure made of wise, experienced, and accomplished individuals chosen for their empathy, ability to do good, and offer service to others. Such a system would be far more accountable and just than the monopolistic power of parasitic elites. Humans are naturally cooperative and altruistic. Communities can self-organize and maintain order. History and modern examples, such as disaster relief efforts and mutual aid networks, show our capacity for cooperation without government control. Governments rely on force in the form of taxation, laws, and violence to function, but voluntary interactions can achieve its goals much more efficiently without an external structure. Modern technology has made centralized governments pointless. Innovations like blockchain, smart contracts, and decentralized systems allow you to manage resources, enforce agreements, and self-organize without the need for centralized authority. The internet enables international collaboration, eliminating the need for governments, and most importantly, stops wars. Advancements in artificial intelligence are quickly leading us to a future where we will not need to control crucial aspects of our existence, as machines are more efficient and fair. Governments today are the symbol of the worst in humans: corruption, bureaucracy, and inefficiency. This results in wasted resources, slow decision-making, and policies that favor the elite over society. Without government, we could allocate resources more effectively and transparently. Governments also purposely stifle creativity and innovation by imposing restrictive laws, taxes, and regulations without consent. A stateless society would unleash enormous human potential by removing these artificial barriers. You can reach your full potential only when you're free. Without the constraints of enslaving government policies, you can enjoy true freedom to live as you choose, associate with whom you want, and pursue your own goals without tyrannical interference. This freedom fosters creativity, innovation, and personal growth. Anytime ordinary people are given the chance to choose, the choice is the same. Freedom, not tyranny. The rule of law, not the rule of the secret police. The government has no right to tell you how to live your life. The matrix doesn't own you. Governments are hypocrites who perpetuate inequality by favoring chosen groups, industries, corporations, or individuals. They do themselves what they accuse you of. We can eliminate these biases, allowing for an even distribution of resources and opportunities. Merit and innovation would be rewarded rather than connections or privilege. Additionally, governments are the primary instigators of wars, territorial disputes, and power struggles. A decentralized world would reduce large-scale conflicts by eliminating monopolies on power, as localized decision-making is far less likely to engage in aggressive behavior. We are fully capable of providing and maintaining public goods without governments and taxation through crowdfunding, private organizations, and subscription-based models. It is not rocket science that local communities are better equipped to address their own needs than distant bureaucracies. Governments are incapable of providing security and justice efficiently. Private police, security firms, and community-based dispute resolution systems can handle these functions much better. They are more responsive, adaptable, and accountable than government-run systems. In fact, we already have robots that can do that job. Universally accepted constitutions contain all the irrevocable laws necessary for a functioning society. Law doesn't need to be defined or enforced by a centralized institution. These unconditional principles can guide human behavior and interactions without the need for a coercive government made of career criminals. The financial burden of maintaining governments through taxes, bureaucracy, and military spending far outweighs the benefits they provide. We can eliminate these unnecessary costs, allowing you to keep most or all of your assets and resources. Private solutions are consistently more cost-effective and efficient than government programs without the waste and inefficiency of centralized control. Now that you know all of this, how do you fight back? First, you need to recognize tyranny. You won't be able to fight back unless you see and understand the matrix. It thrives when people comply without question. If you want to resist it, you must first understand how it operates. Every oppressive system relies on control, but they're all inherently unstable. No government can abuse power indefinitely. People will eventually push back. The constitutions were created to restrain the government, not to grant it unlimited power. Never forget, the government exists to serve you, not to rule you. When fear takes hold and people submit, tyranny wins. Government may be necessary evil, but as individuals become wiser, more united, and stronger, its control weakens. The so-called rulers are few, short-sighted, and powerless without obedience. At any moment, you can reclaim your freedom, but first, you must reject the mindset that seeks authority without responsibility. The elite is stupid and wants a stupid society, as they don't have the ability nor means to control intelligent people. That is why the whole matrix is incredibly primitive and unstable. The self-proclaimed rulers are at much lower intellectual level than us, and they are driven by primal impulses. They're a tiny minority, and at any point, we can take the power back away from them. The system is so fragile that in 2020, it started falling apart. The structure was exposed with the start of the bogus pandemic, and it showed how easy it is to simply ignore the illegal mandates by not complying. The Matrix is in decline in the last stage of its secret existence. There are billions of us and only a few thousand of them. If you're smart, you can play the system against them, or even take advantage of it. But to do that, you need to be educated, as all freedom begins with knowledge. Open your mind, as their power is maintained by ignorance. The first step in resisting this oppression is to understand your role in this life. You're here to be an independently functioning individual with the freedom to live, act, and create as you please. These are our responsibilities, not the government's. They are not in charge of your life. The next step is to educate yourself. Those in power maintain control by keeping people ignorant. The more you learn, the harder you are to deceive. Every oppressive regime relies on lies and manipulation. When those lies are exposed, they have to use force. 434 and this channel are a great place to start your education. In an era of widespread deception, speaking the truth becomes a revolutionary act of defiance. Never assume your freedom is secure. Only through constant vigilance can you protect it. A well-informed individual who understands and values their rights can never be truly enslaved. But where ignorance prevails, tyranny grows. In the Matrix, the oppression is ignorantly self-administered by its weakest prisoners. Once done for a few generations, it will eventually make those who offer the truth seem as lunatics, no matter how rational and logical they sound. Your responsibility is to spread awareness. Most people have no idea how corrupt the system is. If they understood how financial and political institutions truly operate, they would revolt overnight. Build trust with those around you, because no dictatorship can survive when people stand together. Tyrants only succeed when individuals remain isolated, fearful, and divided. Build alternatives to the system. The foundation of true freedom is the ability to sustain yourself outside their control. Develop self-sufficiency, create independent networks, and engage in direct trade outside government restrictions. Money is one of their greatest tools of control, so reduce your reliance on their financial systems. The basis of your freedom is the right to free exchange. The system is filled with monsters who don't deserve your respect and who have no special privileges. The most powerful weapon against tyranny is disobedience. As long as you play by the elite's rules, the elite will rule. The real problem isn't people breaking the rules, it's people following them without question. History has shown that blind obedience to authority leads to suffering on a massive scale. Wars, poverty, and oppression exist because people submit rather than resist. Meanwhile, those who exploit the system face no consequences, while the powerless fill the prisons and graveyards. If you want to fight back, stop playing their game. As long as you follow their rules, they will remain in control. Most of the time, doing the opposite of what the government wants will keep you free and alive. Most of all, do not let the Matrix play their wars. War is a state of mind driven by a competitive condition. Do not support anything related to conflicts and do not take part in them. Actively demand peace and oppose wars with every possible method at your disposal. Do not join the army. Do not fight for politicians. Fight for your freedom from politicians. They're a bunch of corrupt nobodies, and you can't let them take away your life so that they can make some money. Challenge corruption wherever you see it. Politicians and bureaucrats do not seek justice. They seek power. Think about these monsters as outlaws who need to be prosecuted. They push for war while ordinary people desire peace. Hold them accountable through legal action, activism, and exposure. Start locally. Change begins at the community level. If you're a lawyer, challenge corruption in the courts. If you're a journalist, uncover the truth. If you're an activist, organize others. Break through and bypass censorship. Reveal the lies and never stop questioning authority and exposing their corruption. The most dangerous person to a corrupt government is the one who thinks independently. Once you do, you will see their deception clearly, and you will recognize the system for what it is: dishonest, irrational, and criminal. Organize, defend yourself, and support those who fight for freedom. A truly advanced society values individual autonomy and privacy. The more control the government has over your life, the closer you are to living as a slave. In extreme situations, resistance might need to escalate, but violence should always be the last option. Historically, it has been understood that if a government fails to fulfill its purpose, the people have the right to overthrow it, but it is not necessary, because when all men are good and wise, government will cease to exist organically. No force in the world, not war, fear, or oppression, can break your spirit unless you surrender. The Matrix can restrict your actions, but it cannot control your mind. True liberty requires breaking free from these chains of dependency and reclaiming your right to think, act, and live independently. Evil only triumphs when good people do nothing. Oppression is only possible when people refuse to resist. If you love your freedom, be ready to stand against those who betray its principles. True opposition means challenging a corrupt government, and when laws become tools of oppression, breaking them becomes a moral duty. Freedom is never handed to you. You must fight for it and maintain it. But once you win, it spreads, strengthens, and eventually suffocates tyranny. Your mission is clear. Wake up, reject submission, and take action. The battle for freedom is yours to fight, because if you don't, no one else will. It is your task here to wake up and fight oppression. The battle between good and evil is your purpose. Thank you for watching. I hope it is clear to you now why you no longer can exist in the Matrix and why it is so important for us to build an alternative 434 structure. This video will be followed soon by an explanation of what our future in the next years will look like and why we need to act now, and another video about how you can change it by learning how to stand up to the system. It is all necessary for you to be a part of the collective that might change the course of human history. We'll also have a meeting of all 434 members who want to build the community together. Please sponsor this channel so that I can keep uploading these videos. Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow. Like this video and share it with everyone you care about. For merchandise, go to shop.b434.com. Leave your email address at news.b434.com. Visit the website of the artist and the musician I featured here. For more info or contact, visit b434.com and join 434's social media on YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Reddit, Discord, Telegram, VK, TikTok, Tumblr, LinkedIn, Dailymotion, and a few other ones you can see on the screen now. All links in the video description and at b434.com.